music fridge magnet. Let me say that again. It is a music fridge magnet. It's so cute. These quilt squares are perfect for this project. Oh, wow. That is straight up B-U-R-N-T, burnt. That looks like crap. Okay, y'all. We found some of the weirdest sublimation blanks that I won't say I've ever seen, but they're just kind of odd. And we thought, why not go ahead and order them and open them up on camera for you all to see and sublimate them together and see if they really work. If you are new to the channel, my name is Lauren McCoy and I'm a craft producer here at Makers Gonna Learn, where we strive to bring you inspiration, education, and motivation on all things crafty. And in today's video, we are gonna be focusing mainly on sublimation and these weird blanks. I don't know, guys, let me just show you. We finally got them in. You can see here we have 3 different blanks that we're gonna be working with. So let's just go ahead and dive right in and take a look at these weird sublimation blanks. So first up on the list, we'll start with a smaller one. These are the sublimation, it says card perfume spray bottles. These look like those Touchland hand sanitizer things to me, but they're calling them perfume spray bottles. I don't know, we've not opened them. Let's go ahead, get these open and see what they look like. Okay, right off the bat, you get 6 in the container, or 6 in the box. They come with, there's this, but then there's also this. I'm assuming this is, I'm just making an assumption that this is the part that we're gonna be sublimating, and I'm assuming that this is also the little spray bottle, I guess. I just don't know how you would be able to, okay, this is interesting. This is like a little tiny, do y'all see this? It's like a little tiny pipette that you can, I guess, put in. Okay. Okay, so they are color coded and they come in different colors. So they have pink, these are pink and like this blue. Okay, so wait, is this extra? Because it also came with one of them inside here. So these are metal, you can hear, I'm assuming. They kind of feel like maybe plastic. Anyway. And then you also get, this is the spray bottle that you get. Once again, these look like the Touchland hand sanitizers that the kids are loving these days. I guess you could really put whatever kind of liquid you wanted in there. If you wanted to put like body spray or like a travel size, whatever, you could do that. But this is what they look like. And then I am assuming that we sublimate on this. And then this goes here. Yes, okay, so it looks like there's an adhesive, like there is a, hold on, let's look at this. Yes, okay, so there is a plastic covering over that, and then, let me feel. Yes, this side is sticky. So what we would do is sublimate on this, stick it to this, and then we're gonna have a customized little spray bottle. I wonder if you can sublimate on both sides because you can see through to this side. Are there instructions in here? This is, we did get these from PYD Life. This is just a little thank you for your order. Welcome to our sublimation blank world. Not there. Is it on the side? Okay, so there really are no instructions in here other than on the side of the box. It says heat press 356 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really specific for 60 seconds. So here in a minute, after we go through all of these blanks, we're gonna get our designs set up. I'm going to be setting up our designs in Canva today just because we have lots of different sizes here and I want to take up as much space as I can. So We are going to be setting these up in Canva, but this is our first one. Let me just go ahead, let's look at a pink one real quick so that you all can see. In case you do like these, you can see the colors, why not? So once again, Pipette comes in it to fill it up. And here, okay, I was about to say this is interesting. This one didn't come with one. It does. Here is the pink one. Pretty little pink. Also, how you fill these up, just seeing this, so I'm assuming, is that you pop, maybe? There we go. You pop this guy up and then this comes out and you fill it up in there. Interesting. I guess I now see why this little pipette would come in handy to get the liquid and transfer it over to here. It's still not really, this little thing, it's still gonna be a little bit hectic to do that. But anyway, that's how you do this. So let's go ahead and put this one back up. And then it just goes right back in, squirt, squirt, squirt. And let's look at this next one. Now, this next one, guys, I don't know. So, this is also PYD Life. Let me just go ahead and say all of these blanks are PYD Lifes. If you are in the sublimation world and you've been sublimating for a while, you know that PYD Life is a pretty well-trusted brand, especially when it comes to blanks. They have some really good blanks, but they've got some odd blanks. So this one up next is Sublimation Music Fridge Magnet. Music fridge magnet. Let me say that again. It is a music fridge magnet. Interesting. I'm really excited to see how this one works because I could see some like potential for this one. I think it could be really cute. So in here, you are going to get 6 as well. And so just opening it up. This one does come with instructions. This one comes with instructions. So it's a little bit more complicated with this one. And this one does give you printing parameters. So it says magnet function, place the magnet on your fridge. There is a record button, so you can record your voice on this one, and then you can play it just by pressing it down is what I'm seeing. There's a volume button, a power button, and a charging button. Recording a message, turn on the power switch, click record. We'll go through all of that later. I'm just curious. You can play music. Only one recording can be saved at a time. New recordings will replace the old one. You can delete a recording, upload or replace music. It says that only MP3 files are supported. There looks like there is a Bluetooth mode. That's a lot. We're not gonna worry about that. But I do like how this one gives you the actual dimensions. Here you can see that they give you the actual dimensions of this product. And then your forceps, so printing, print designs, don't mirror. This one's gonna be interesting. Anyway, we're not gonna go through those. I'm gonna put the instructions back in here so when it actually comes to, okay, so each individual box comes with instructions. We just had some extra instructions laying on top, looks like. And then you have these little sticky things, I'm assuming is what attaches what we sublimate onto. Okay, so here's what it looks like in the box. You have your recording device in here. You can see here is where it plays from. Here is your microphone on the bottom, your record button here, volume here, on and off switch and charging port on the other side, and then it magnets onto the back. What could I stick this to? We'll go to the fridge after we have sublimated, but interesting. So here is the blank. I'm trying to figure out what side we sublimate on because it gives us instructions here, but it just says fix sublimation paper and it has this plus tape. So maybe it looks to me like if I don't mirror, here are my thoughts. This is speculation. We'll figure it out once we actually start sublimating. So here are my thoughts. With this blank, because this part is covered and it almost looks to be clear. And this part is solid. You can tell this part is solid and this part is not as solid. So if we don't mirror, my assumptions are that we don't mirror, tape it to the back, and then like heat it through this way. So the heat source is gonna be on top. Or we could do it this way and it heats through and comes out the front. Stick around to find out if you wanna figure out how this works. So this is our other one. I think it is really cool. I'm interested though, before we sublimate. Okay. Hello, Poppet.
Hello, Poppet.
Ah! It did it! Okay, cool beans. So we know that one works. And then to re-record, so I don't know, if it's a fridge magnet, let's say I needed to tell, I had to leave work or I had to leave for work early or whatever, or I had instructions for my kids when they come back from home. Let's just see. Asher, you need to unload the dishwasher, sweep the kitchen, and clean up your room when you get home. Thank you. I love you. Like my kid does that every day. He doesn't, but it would be in a fun world. And then,
Asher, you need to unload the dishwasher, sweep the kitchen, and clean up your room when you get home. Thank you. I love you.
I mean, listen, I could get down with this. I think this fridge magnet, it's odd and not something that I would be out there looking for. I think it has potential though. So we're also gonna sublimate on this one. Stick around for the journey. And our last really weird sublimation blank that we have is the biggest one. And this is, once again, also from PYD Life, a sublimation wooden step stool. I don't know, guys. We're gonna see how this is. Okay. So this comes with 4. There's 4 in here. Also, it does have instructions. This one it comes in parts. So you have your top and your legs are gonna be separate. And the instructions are telling you we sublimate on the wood portion, which we know we can sublimate on wood. They obviously have some type of coating on this wood for us to be able to sublimate on it. But you print it, you fix your sublimation design. This one, you sublimate at 392 for 120 seconds. And then you assemble the legs. So let's get one out. Take a gander. Now this one is gonna be a little bit more oversized. I'm curious though to see, like, for our friends that don't have larger printers, I'm curious to see sizing. That way, if you don't have capabilities to print on, let's say, 9x13, would this be one that a 8.5 by 14 piece of paper would work on? I'm not sure. So it's a pretty decent little size stool. Here it is. And then here are there are 2 legs, obviously. They're just square metal things and they go on the bottoms here and here. It does come with hardware. This does require an Allen wrench to put this hardware on. It does not, that I have seen, come with an Allen wrench. We personally have one of those little Allen wrench tools. I'll have to show it to you here in a little bit, that we love to keep around for things like this. It doesn't come with the like assembling stuff. So hold please. I'm gonna grab a piece of 8.5 by 14 paper and see how well it fits on this before we go into actually designing. So please. Okay, I'm back and I grabbed our A-Sub 8.5 by 14 sublimation paper. I just wanted to, I could have measured this, but I have the sublimation paper right there, so why not just go ahead and grab it and see how it actually does fit. So here is how an 8.5 by 14 piece of paper fits on this stool. If you want my honest opinion, I think this is perfectly fine if you do not have capabilities to print larger. And because of that, I'm just gonna print it on, I'm just gonna make a design and print it on this 8.5 by 14 paper. I'm not gonna make it any larger. That way I also know I don't have to double press this because our press is a 15 by 15. So if I do anything larger than this, I'm gonna have to press one side and then press the second side. And sometimes, y'all, it's just easier to make your design smaller and to fit it all on one thing. So anyway, we're gonna do ours on 8.5 by 14. I'm not gonna do a full wrap design on this. I don't think it warrants it. I will say there is definitely some type of plastic coating on this. You can just feel it. It is solid wood though. You can feel the wood grain on this side. They have just pushed, or I say solid wood, it's pressed wood. But anyway, but they have put, you can even see it right there on the camera. You can see that they've got some type of coating on this so that it is sublimation. It can be sublimated. So I'm curious to see how well it does. So now that we have opened up all of our weird sublimation blanks, I have some ideas for, I think, the designs using some of our new cut files here at Maker's Gonna Learn. Also, before we proceed, if you are not part of the Maker's Gonna Learn family, now is the time to go ahead and hop on the train, because if you are curious, or if you found yourself at this video, you know, maybe a little bit curious about sublimation, we have an amazing offer called MGL Plus, where you can, it's a one-stop shop. You can join our community, get access to the thousands of cut files, hundreds of fonts, and y'all, you can get access to every single course that we have ever created. For the year of your membership, you get it all. Not only do you learn how to use your Cricut, if you have a Cricut, but you can also learn how to do sublimation. We do advanced crafting, teaching you how to use and utilize Canva. All of these things and so much more is within our MGL Plus membership. So if you're interested, make sure you click that first link down below and check it out. Now, let's go ahead and dive right into Canva and let's start the designing process. Now that we are here in Canva, because we are working with 8.5 by 14 paper today, I'm going to come over here to the left-hand side and I'm going to click Create, and I'm going to come down here to the bottom and I'm going to do Custom Size. Now, I am printing horizontally for the stool. So we may do 8.5 by 14 for the stool and then come back and do another 8.5 by 11 piece for our little fridge magnet and our hand sanitizer bottle, spray, whatever you want to call it. So let's just go ahead and start with the stool first. So I'm changing my units from pixels to inches. And because I want it horizontal, I'm going to make my width 14 and my height 8.5. So that's going to be the representation of the paper that I'm printing on horizontally. Regular, you would do 8.5 by width, 14 by height, but we're switching it because I want it in that landscape orientation. So we're going to click Create New Design from there. And now that we have our canvas here that's going to be the exact same size of the paper we are printing on, I'm going to hop over to Maker's Gonna Learn website and I'm going to grab a file that I want to work with for this stool. Here on the website, to find our cut files, if you just come up here to the top where it says Cut Files, you can click on that and you can browse through all of the files that we have. One thing I do love is you can sort by what occasion you may be looking for. If you just want to see the new ones, you can also sort here by most popular, newest alphabetical, and you can change how many you view, 30, 90 per page. Let's just go ahead. We'll leave it at 30, and I'm going to go through here. Now, first of all, this Lord Have Mercy, I think I want that on my little design for the hand sanitizer spray. So I'm going to go ahead and download that one just because, y'all, that's just very, very much so me. And you can also play around with it. While we're here, these are perfect size, I think, or perfect, at least they're square. And the fridge magnet is square as well. So I'm going to grab one of these. Actually, let's just grab both of them. Why not? And that will be probably what we will do for our little fridge magnet. Once again, you don't have to use, you can make whatever design you want. I'm just going through and finding the ones that we can quickly do out of our new files, but still be super cute. Okay, so I found a file that I think I want to work with, and I think I want to work with this file. Hear me out. We're going to take the word bestie off of this in Canva, and I'm going to show you how to do that and maybe just add a name on that one for like a little girl as a step stool. I think would be super cute. So we're going to download this one. So we have our files that we are going to be using today, and I'm going to hop back over into Canva, and from there, I'm going to go to Uploads. I'm going to bring my Finder back into view. I'm going to go to my downloads, and I'm going to do this Valentine's Bestie PNG here, and I'm going to add that to our page. So it does come in, the bounding box does come in square. I'm just going to size that down just a little bit, and I'm going to make it fit our 8.5 by 14 paper. It may not fit perfectly, but I think that fills it up pretty well. So what I was telling you about, how I'm going to, I guess, manipulate this file is I'm going to come over here to edit. We're going to see if this works. I'm not 100% sure that this is going to work, but I want to grab text, and I'm hoping that it'll pick up. Yes. Okay, perfect. I want to select this one, and I'm going to grab that text because I just want to delete it. So you can see it grabbed the text. It changed the font. I don't hate the font, but now I can change the name, and let's do Annie Scott. And then we can size it down. I really don't hate that font with that. I think it can be cute, but I am going to curve it. So I'm coming up here to effects. I'm going to curve it. Obviously not that much. We need to uncurve it just the slightest to fit right there. Y'all, how stinking cute and how fast was that? I'm personally blown away by how fast and how cute that now looks. So here is our design for our 8.5 by 14 piece of paper for the stool. This is what we're doing for the stool. Now to download this and print it, we will go into that once we go to download and print all of it, because I want to print it all at the same time. So I have this one set here. I'm going to come back over here to our home page on Canva, and I'm going to make a new window or a new document that's going to be on 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And that's going to be what we're going to put our files on for the fridge magnet and for the little spray bottle. So I do need to grab the measurements of the spray bottle just so I can have a representation. So we're looking at 2 and actually it's like 2 and it's 2 and 1/8. That's different. And then our height is going to be 3 3/4. So I'm just going to grab an element here. Let's just grab a shape. It has somewhat rounded corners. And then I'm going to go to position, and here in advanced I can type in so it would be 2.175 for an 1/8, and then height is going to be 3.75. No, okay, so height 3.75. Beautiful. Okay, so this is going to represent my, and we might change it. Let's do this. Since these corners are curved a lot, even if I have some overhang, once again, we're going to position. We're doing this as 2.175 and 3.75. And this is going to represent the size of our little hand sanitizer spray. I'll change the color of that once I get everything set. But I am now going to make another shape. We'll do this one as a square. And I'm going to go to position, and I'm going to lock the ratio because I want it to stay a square, and I want them to be 3.93 both sides. So that is going to represent our little fridge magnet. Once again, I'm going to change the colors once I get my files in here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my finder back into view. We're going to add this one. This is the You're My Perfect Match. And now what we can do is I can size this to fit within the parameters that I have here on this one. So you can see if we want it to be a full one, it needs to be just a little bit bigger. And then I can move it to the back. And this is all that's going to be like cut off around it. You can zoom in. You can see there's really not much that's going to be cut off of that. So I think that the sizing of that one is great. So we're just going to delete that. There is what my fridge magnet is going to say. And then for our spray bottle, what I like to do is I have that as my guide. I'm going to bring my finder in. Remember, I was doing the Lord Have Mercy. Now this one does come in black and just completely black. I'm not sure. There it is. Okay. And then I'm just going to size this down to fit onto here. And the sizing is not really great. I might even change this background color. We'll do like a pretty, like a creamy color. And I'm going to change these colors as well to maybe be more of like a baby pink. Ooh, I like that. That one's cute. But I will say that it's like I want to, it's like something's not right for me on this design. But you know what? We're not worried about design. We are just, also, why is that M like that? I guess it's just the font. Interesting. We'll just leave it like this. Okay, y'all. I may have changed my direction just because I think this is really cute. We'll pop that in there, see what we like about it, how we like it. This one is a file, once again. It says more fartsy than artsy. I mean, I have a little child sense of humor, so I guess that's why I think it's cute. And I like it on this background color, so we're just going to go with that. I mean, it's a perfume spray, right? Anyway, we're going to go with this one. These are the two we're going with. So now we are ready to send these to the printer. So what we need to do to get these ready to send is we need to go to share. We are going to download these as a PNG. I have Canva Pro. If you have Canva Pro, I would highly suggest taking this little size bar and making it as large. That's just going to help ensure that your prints come out very, very good. So we're just going to slide that up. I don't need this as a transparent background because we are going to be sublimating on these. So I'm just going to slide that up and click download. Same thing with our other one here, Annie Scott. We're going to go to share. We're going to download. I'm going to size this up to make sure that I get the best composition of this print, and then go to download. Once those have downloaded, we can see here that we can open these up. And then I am just going to hit Command P, and I'm going to select, I'm going to be using my Epson SureColor F170 series today. Now with this printer, I will say that it does automatically mirror your design, so do be aware of that. That's why I didn't mirror anything. Now, just know, because of the fridge magnet, we actually can't mirror it. So we may have to print two, one mirrored and one not mirrored. So let's just see how this goes. I always come down here and make sure that I change my print quality to fine. And here is where you're going to find that mirror image if you're working with the Epson series F170, the SureColor F170, just keep that in mind. If you are working with a converted printer, make sure you mirror your design from your print settings, okay? So I'm just changing that print quality to fine. And then from there, I'm just going to make sure I load my printer with paper and hit print. Okay, y'all, I'm over here at the printer finishing up my last print. I did have to do 2 prints just because this one did print mirrored. This one printed regular, you can see here. So I do have 2 prints. One for, it might be a better idea, like if you were doing this and you're doing the fridge magnet, Make sure you put all your fridge magnet designs on the same thing, and don't try to be like me and put the same design. I was just trying to save paper and ended up using another piece. Anyway, I digress. I'm now printing the stool one. Now, if you are here and you're like, but Lauren, you didn't show us how to print. We are really just testing these blanks. If you want to know everything there is about sublimation, print settings, what printer to purchase, the best inks to use, how to set up your color profiles, how to get your colors right, you've got to get in on MGL Plus so that you can get access to everything in there, including the Maker's Gonna Sublimate course. Y'all, even if you've never sublimated before, in my opinion, you need to start there before you buy any products, before you buy any printers, because a lot of times what ends up happening, what we have seen, is that people will buy a printer and then be like, okay, now I need to know how to sublimate. When in reality, it's better if you kind of work in reverse and you learn what is best before making the purchase. So if you've been interested in sublimation, because y'all, obviously these blanks have come a long way. It's no longer just tumblers and mugs and things like that. There are so many more sublimation blanks out there these days. Definitely click that first link down below and check out MGL Plus. But let me turn around and show you. Here is what we are printing now. Now, if you have never seen sublimation done before, this is a great place for you to start. These colors are going to always come out muted. Sublimation colors are always going to be a lot more muted than when you actually press it. And you're looking for those muted colors, because if they are very bright and vibrant before you press, it's gonna be even more, the colors are just gonna be even darker when it comes to pressing time. So we've got these two printed. Here is our last print. Now we are ready to take it over here to our heat press, and we're gonna start prepping all of our projects. Okay, so I've got all my instructions here. I've got all my blanks. I've got me some scissors. I've got my heat resistant tape, and my butcher's paper is over here, which we will talk about here in a minute. But let's start out. Let me see what we are currently sitting at 356 degrees, which is what our perfume spray is gonna be pressed at. Let me double check and see what this one gets pressed at. Our fridge magnet gets pressed also at 356. So I guess we get to do them both without having to change the temperature. So we need the one that is, first of all, we need the one that is mirrored first for our little spray. Now, I did make this like a creamy color background, so I can't really see it all that well. But I am cutting. Now, if this were I am cutting this design, but if this were a very, I guess you could say a malleable or not a forgiving blank, then I would have torn this. But because this is a very rigid, hard surface blank, I just went ahead and cut it. Now, it looks like I may not have made the design or the color large enough. Another thing you need to be aware of, a lot of sublimation blanks have a plastic coating on them that you have to, or like a plastic film that you need to take off. Ask me how I know. Because I have melted plastic onto lots of things before without knowing that, okay, yeah, you gotta take that plastic off. So I am right now removing this plastic film, and the reason they do that is just so that it protects this. I'm actually going to remove the plastic from both sides because I don't want it melting on anything. So make sure you are removing plastic. It wasn't this blank, I can't remember. Oh, it was a license plate. That's what it was. Who would have thought that there would have been a plastic film on a license plate? Anyway, it was a mess. I don't want to talk about it. But what we're going to do is we are going to place this down. I definitely should have made it a little bit bigger, but you know what? We're here now, it's fine. We're just looking to see how it does. And I'm going to tape this down so that it does not move and there is no ghosting occurring. And I think 2 places is fine. It's not like I need to tape it anywhere else. And then the next one that we are going to do is we are going to do our fridge magnet. And remember, this was the one that was not mirrored. Okay, so you can see through there and see how that works. Love that. Once again, taking the plastic off of this. And I think for this one, I'm not going to be super precise about it. I'm just going to cut some of the excess off, and I'm going to tape this down like this. So I'm going to hold it up, position it where I want it. I'll show you here in just a second. Let me get it taped down, and then I'll show you what I did. Okay, so here's what I did. I just taped it down with our non-mirrored design on the back. So we're going to press these. How close can I bring the heat press? I guess I should be asking, how close can I bring you guys? So come along with me. So what we're going to do now, we have our heat press. We need butcher's paper. What butcher's paper does, and we always get this question, can we use parchment? Whatever. Whoop. Now, we always get this question, can I use parchment paper or does it have to be butcher's paper? Butcher's paper is actually meant to wick and absorb moisture. Now, when you're working with surfaces like this that are a harder surface, there's not really moisture trapped in it. However, when you are working with clothing, it does not matter. Fabric is going to trap moisture whether it feels wet or not. So that's why we like to use butcher's paper. It's just a protectant, and what it does is it absorbs that extra moisture, because when heat is applied to something, the moisture evaporates and it steams. So that is what the butcher's paper is there for. It's also to help protect your heat plate here and your bottom of your press in case you have extra ink that gets transferred. Then you can just throw this butcher's paper away. You don't risk transferring one design over to another project. So we're gonna press this one. I've got to remind myself, it was 356 for 60 seconds. So we're placing this, so we have our little sandwich, our butcher's paper, our blank, design facing up to the heat source. We're gonna lay that down, second layer of butcher's paper, and then we're gonna press for 60 seconds. While that is pressing though, I always like to kind of work in batches. I'm just gonna go ahead and start taping down my design for our step stool while also keeping a check on this, because I think it was set to 90 seconds. So I need to double check. I need to make sure I pull that off when that reaches 30 seconds. So now we have reached 30 seconds. I'm gonna pop that up. This is metal. I'm not gonna grab it. Give me a second. I'm gonna grab me a glove. I did not have ghosting on that piece, so I can use that again, just so you know. We're gonna grab our glove here. And there's our little design. More fartsy than artsy. Super cute. The colors aren't exactly what I thought they would be. And you can see when you get closer, you can see where I didn't go all the way to the edge. That kind of bothers me, but like, I don't know, I think it's cute. If I would have spent a lot more time on it, instead of just trying to quickly make a design for you guys, I would have gone back and reprinted that. But the cool thing about this blank, which it is already cooled down, I would about put money that I could reuse this one. You see how this doesn't have all, it's not all the way to the top? I could about put money on it that I could sublimate on this side, but that would mean that's gonna show on that side. But they do send you extra of these, so if you mess up one, it's fine. It'll be okay. So the next one we're gonna press, where'd it go? Where'd she go? This one. So remember, we did not mirror this one. It is taped. I'm still going to press it this way with this piece of paper or our design on the heat plate. Sometimes you can press and it will still, like, the heat will come through and you can press from this side, but we're just gonna put it upside down. So once again, there is no ghosting. Let me just show you. There's no ghosting on this, and it's not extremely burnt. So I am going to reuse butcher's paper. You can reuse it, but once you start getting extra ink on it, you really can't. So make sure just to be aware of that and kind of see what's happening. But we are going to place this one, our sublimation sandwich as I like to call it. And I'm going to double check the time on this one. Here it is. This one was also 3:56 for 120 seconds. So we're going to, that's at 90 seconds. We need to go pump it up to 120. Beautiful. So now we have it at 3:56 for 120 seconds. We've got about 80 seconds. I'm gonna get that Allen wrench tool real quick so that I can show you how we're gonna finish putting the actual stool together. So be right back. Told you I'd be back before the timer went off. Okay, so here's the little Allen wrench tool that we have. It's just a Husky brand, and you pop out your different size Allen wrenches that you need. Super handy to have, especially if you are a crafter and do things like this. But I wanna check the sizing of this Allen wrench so that I can see, which we're getting close. We're getting close. We got 10 more seconds left. This side. Okay, we'll check that here in a minute. Let me get my heat glove back on. Okay. Now this is one where we are going to see some ghosting, and I'm gonna show you, and we're gonna change it out. This is so stinking cute. Look at this. Now this one is hot, so we're gonna be a little bit more on the cautious side and not touch this one with our bare hand. It's not too awful bad, but it's still warm. But this is so cute. These quilt squares are perfect for this project. Could you imagine doing this as a little, this is probably, Asher doesn't watch our YouTube videos, but this might be part of this little Valentine's Day basket. Except I probably shouldn't put You're My Perfect match. Anyway, I'll make another one. It doesn't matter. Super cute, love. And then we'll assemble all of these here in a minute. So the last one that we have, I will say, you can barely see it, but that is ghosting. You see that ink? So because of that, I'm going to throw this one away because I don't want a little pink square on my design or on my stool. So I'm just gonna put another piece down here. Actually, it might be smarter to use this one that we've used a couple times, and we'll do the new one on top. But what we're gonna do, we have our design taped down. I'm going to place this here. Now this barely fits on this heat plate, but I also need to bump the heat up. I was reading, this one needs to be bumped up to, I want to say it's 392, but I don't know where my thing went, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, so that's gonna have to heat up for just a minute. I'm gonna try to find, it was a big one right in front of my face. Anyway, yes, 392 for 120 on this one. Also, while we're waiting for this to be bumped up, in case you all were wondering, the size of Allen wrench that you need for this is going to be a 532. That's what we're doing. That's the size for the Allen wrench. Okay, so we are up to temperature now. We're ready to press. We're pressing this wooden stool at 392 degrees for 120 seconds. Now, I am gonna have to adjust my pressure just because this is a thicker material. It's still too thick. Maybe not thick enough. Okay, also that moved just a little bit, so I'm going to There we go. Beautiful. It looks like it has, I'm hoping that it's covered all of the sides. I think it got moved. While that is working, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now how this goes on. So remember, I said this was a plastic like little thing on top of this and it's sticky. So what you have to do, take that plastic off like that. Did that take the adhesive off too? No, that was weird. Okay, the sticky is still on there. Should the sticky have been on that too? Okay, so this is a little confusing. This part is not sticky, but this part is. Anyway, let's put it on and see. There you go. More fartsy than artsy. It does feel like it's stuck down pretty well. There's our stool. Do you see all this steam? This is moisture. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. I'm kind of just inspecting right now, looking. I will say this one has a little bit of an odor where the other ones didn't. If that means anything to you, if you're concerned about stuff like that, I will say this one does tend to have a little bit more of an odor for some reason. Oh, wow. Y'all, that is straight up B-U-R-N-T, burnt. Let me show you what this looks like. That looks like crap. That is wild to me. I did the instructions exactly as they said, at 392 degrees for 120 seconds. Just so you all can see. Do y'all see that right here? It says 392 degrees, right? Yes, 392 Fahrenheit, 120 seconds. And then coming over here, 392. And then when the counter goes off, it's 100 and interesting. Well, if you want my honest opinion, we need to mess around with this a little more. I'm not giving this the MGL seal of approval just yet, just because I want to try this again, but this is not it. No bueno. The design is super cute. I love the design. But it is just how burnt that this is. Maybe we'll have to test this some more. The sign out. Okay, so that one I'm not gonna actually finish putting together for you guys. We'll just have to test and come back. So, last thing that we're gonna do is I am going to put this little guy onto our thing. So how you're gonna do this is the box comes with these little tabs, like they're adhesive tabs. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take one of them, place it around the edges here. Now I do think that it comes with extra, so if you want to place more than just 3, the sticky didn't even come off on that one. It's stuck to the paper. That's a little disappointing. Wow. I am gonna have to use an extra one. I'll use this one right here. It'll be fine. Okay, so we've got these stuck down. Now I'm just going to take off the backer so that it's like double-sided adhesive. Shadookie doke, where is, I need some, give me a second. My nails are too long. I had to grab some tweezers because crafting with long nails obviously has become a struggle for me. Okay, so you take the sticky off, and then you just take this, and there's like little divots that it fits perfectly in. Anyway, sorry. Having too much fun with that. So, what do you all think about these weird, wonderful, wild sublimation craft blanks? I can give the MGL stamp of approval, in my opinion, for the little hand sanitizer case, whatever you want to call it, perfume, spritzer bottle. Heck, you could put some little mouthwash in there if you wanted to. I don't know. Use your imagination. Stamp of approval, check on that one. This one, stamp of approval, check. This one, I'm not saying that we cannot get it to work, but per the manufacturer's instructions, this one is gonna be a no for me, dog. I don't know. It's just way too burnt. I know that if I played around with this, I could get the right settings. But calling you out, PYD Life, your settings that you have, unless it is my press, I'm not saying it's all them. It could be my press. I don't have an actual temperature gauge to double check it, but I do think that this one is gonna be more testing. We just need to test some more. So, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification so that you can be notified every single time we get crafty. And y'all, if you want to learn more about sublimation, make sure you click that first link down below and get signed up for MGL Plus, where you don't only get access to the sublimation course immediately, but you also get access to every single other course we've ever created, plus our thousands and thousands of cut files, fonts, member-only courses, member-only classes, everything. You get it all in one stop, so make sure you click that first link down below. And leave me a comment if you've found any weird sublimation blanks that you want us to try out. Let us know, because your girl will purchase it and we're going to test it if that's what you all want. So make sure you leave me a comment down below. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey. We'll see you guys in the next one.